So I'm going to start here with the coating for our pork chops. So we're not going to be doing your standard breaded procedure. We're actually going to be doing a triple dry, wet, dry method.
Okay.
Because we want a really nice, thick, crunchy coating.
Okay.
I have 1 cup of all-purpose flour here, and I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1.5 teaspoons of some salt, good amount of pepper here, 1 teaspoon, and finally a 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper.
Ooh. All right. You're not holding back.
Nope, not today, Julia. All right, gonna give this a whisk just to make sure everything is nice and combined. Now I've got 2 eggs over here. Break those yolks, give these a good whisk. These are gonna be the glue that holds our crispy, crunchy coating onto the pork chops. And you'll notice one last ingredient is some milk.
Right.
I've got 2 tablespoons here. And I'm not gonna add it to the wet. I'm actually gonna add it to our dry flour mixture. Now we found a few years ago when developing a fried chicken recipe that we loved the last few pieces of chicken that were fried.
Yep.
And that's because they got those bigger clumps of the flour mixture. They really had, you know, a big amount of that crunchy coating that you could really sink your teeth into. So what I'm doing is I'm just trying to make some good craggy bits here. You can see all that cayenne and the black pepper in there.
Yeah, well, you can also see those chunks that are gonna stick to the pork chops and make craggy bits.
Yep. Before we do anything else, I'm just gonna wash up real quick. Let's head on down to our pork chops.
Those are beautiful.
They are. So these are 4 5 to 7 ounce bone-in rib chops, and they are absolutely gorgeous. They're about a 1/2 inch a piece. If you do find pork chops that are, you know, between 5 and 7 ounces and they're thicker than a 1/2 inch, go ahead and just pound them just so that they meet the right spec.
Okay.
Just gonna pat these pork chops dry with some paper towels, because that would definitely not hold on to a really nice coating. It would kind of get steamy and soggy. And now I need to season both sides with some salt and pepper. And some pepper. So as I mentioned earlier, we're gonna be doing flour, then egg, and then flour again, because we want that thick, crispy, crunchy coating.
Okay.
So I'll just use my hands again. I'm just gonna use one hand for my dry, one hand for my wet. Make sure you're getting all that egg on there. Again, it's the glue. And then it's gonna go back in. Oh boy, look at that.
Yeah.
So after this step here, I wanna just shake off any excess, because that would end up in the frying oil and we don't want that.
Okay.
So I'm gonna repeat with the remaining 3 chops. So I'm actually not gonna cook the chops quite yet. I want them to hang out in the refrigerator for at least 15 minutes, but you can let them stay in there for up to 2 hours. And it's an important step because it's gonna help to ensure that the coating stays on to the pork when cooking it. The oil is up to temp, it's at 375 degrees, and I have 1 cup of vegetable oil in there. We're gonna shallow fry the pork chops today. It's a weeknight, there's no need to pull out the deep fryer and set up that whole station.
Love it.
So I'm gonna do the chops 2 at a time. I'm gonna cook these until they register 140 degrees, which should be about 2 to 3 minutes per side. Let's take a look.
Oh.
Right. Oh yeah.
Goodness, Ashley, those are gorgeous.
They do look good. So again, 2 more minutes until they register 140 degrees. So these are done cooking. I went ahead and just lined a sheet pan just with some paper towels. It's just gonna help to absorb any extra grease. I'm gonna bring the oil back to temperature, 375 degrees. Perfect, we are there. We're gonna cook the remaining 2 chops, just like the first batch, about 2 minutes per side. Okay.
Gorgeous.
Aren't they beautiful? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn off the heat and I'm gonna pour off all the fat, but I'm gonna return 2 tablespoons back to the skillet for our gravy. Okay, so as I said, I'm gonna return 2 tablespoons of that perfectly seasoned and cooked fat.
Ah. And I love that you left the drippings in the pan because that's just good flavoring too.
Oh yeah, those little bits.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna add some flour. I have 2 tablespoons of flour. So essentially we're making a roux right now. And a little bit of pepper, that is 1 teaspoon.
A little bit.
I was gonna see if you noticed, you did. And a 1/2 teaspoon of some salt. Now this is over medium heat. And you can see everything is bubbling now, so I'm gonna add our milk. I have 1.5 cups of milk. All right, so I'm gonna just whisk to combine. And then this just needs to boil and just cook for 2 minutes until slightly thickened. You look at that.
That's gorgeous.
Pork chop time.
Yes, don't hold back.
I won't. Look at that.
Oh, man.
Oh boy.
I can't wait to dig in.
All right.
Oh, right off the end.
Yeah?
There's so much flavor. You put all those seasonings into the flour and you can really taste them in the coating.
Absolutely.
Almost like they bloomed in the oil, so they don't taste raw.
And the coating is so crunchy.
If you're ready to take your cooking to the next level, try our digital all-access membership where you can stream every season of Cook's Country anytime. Scan the QR code or head over to cookscountry.com to sign up for a free trial.
And let's make something great together.